Welcome back, guys. You've come right on time. I'm just about to read a story from one of my favorite books.
I found employment as a scribe in the Hall of Records. In long hours each day I labored upon the clay tablets. Week after week and month after month I labored, yet from my earnings I had nothing to show. Food and clothing and penance to the gods absorbed all my earnings, but my determination did not leave me. And one day Algamish, the moneylender, came to the house of the city master and ordered a copy of the 9th law. And he said to me, "I must have this in 2 days, and if the task is done by that time, 2 coppers I will give to thee." So I labored hard, but the law was long, and when Algamish returned the task was unfinished. He was angry, and had I been his slave he would have beaten me. But knowing the city master would not permit him to injure me, I was unafraid. So I said to him, "Algamish, you are a very rich man. Tell me how I may also become rich, and all night I will carve upon the clay, and when the sun rises it will be complete." He smiled at me and replied, "You are a forward troll, but we will call it a bargain." And that night I carved, though my back pained and the smell of wick made my head ache until my eyes could hardly see. But when I returned at sunup, the tablets were complete. "Now," I said, "tell me what you promised." "You have fulfilled your part of the bargain, my son," he said kindly to me, "and I am ready to fulfill mine. I will tell you these things you wish to know, because I am becoming an old man, and an old tongue loves to wag. And when youth comes to age for advice, he receives wisdom of years. But too often does youth think that age knows only the wisdom of days that are gone, and therefore profits not. But remember this, the sun that shines today is the sun that shone when thy father was born, and will still be shining when the last grandchild shall pass into darkness. Thoughts of youth are bright lights that shine forth like meteors that often make brilliant the sky. But the wisdom of age is like the fixed stars that shine so unchanged that the sailor may depend upon them to steer his course. Mark you well my words, for if you do not, you will fail to grasp the truth that I will tell you, and you will think that your night's work has been in vain." Then he looked at me shrewdly from under his shaggy brows and said in a low, forceful tone, "I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep, and so will you." Then he continued to look at me with a glance that I could feel pierce me, but said no more. "Is that all?" I asked. "That was sufficient to change the heart of a sheep herder into the heart of a moneylender." "But all I earn is mine to keep, is it not?" I demanded. He replied, "Far from it. Do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Do you not pay for the things you eat? Can you live in Babylon without spending? What have you to show for your earnings of the past month? What for the past year? Fool, you pay to everyone but yourself. Troll, you labor for others. May as well be a slave and work for what your master gives you. If you did keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earn, how much would you have in 10 years? My knowledge of the numbers did not forsake me, I answered. As much as I earn in 1 year. You speak but half the truth. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you. Every copper it earns is its child that also can earn for you. If you would become wealthy, then what you save must earn, and its children must earn, that all may help to give to you the abundance you crave. You think I cheat you? for your long night's work, but I am paying you 1,000 times over if you have the intelligence to grasp the truth I offer you. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should not be less than 1/10, no matter how little you earn. It can be as much more as you can afford. Pay yourself first. Do not buy from the cloth maker and the sandal maker more than you can pay out the rest and still have enough for food and charity and penance to the gods. Wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. But the first copper you save is the seed for which your tree of wealth shall grow. The sooner that you plant the tree, the sooner the tree shall grow. And the more faithful you nourish and water the tree with consistent savings, the sooner may you bask in the contentment beneath its shade. So saying, he took his tablets and went away. I thought much about what he had said to me, and it seemed reasonable, so I decided that I would try it. Each time I was paid, I took one from each 10 pieces of copper and hid it away. And strange as it may seem, I was no shorter of funds than before. I noticed little difference as I managed to get along without it, but often I was tempted, as my hoard began to grow, to spend it on some of the good things the merchants displayed. But wisely I refrained. A 12th month after Algamish had gone, he again returned and said to me, "Son, have you paid yourself not less than 1/10 of all you have earned the past year?" I answered proudly, "Yes, master, I have." "And what have you done with it?" "I have given it to Asmir, the brickmaker. He told me he was traveling overseas, and in a fortnight he would buy me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. When he returns, we shall sell these at high prices and divide the earnings." "Every fool must learn," he growled. "But why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? Would you go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars? No. By my tunic, you would go to the astrologer. If you had the power to think. Your savings are gone, troll. You have jerked your wealth tree up by the roots. But plant another. Try again. And next time, if you would have advice about jewels, go to the jewel merchant. If you would know the truth about sheep, go to the herdsman. Advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. He who takes his advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions." Saying this, he went away, and it was as he said, for the Phoenicians are scoundrels, and sold to Ajmer worthless bits of glass that look like gems. But as Algamish had bid me, I again saved each 10th copper, for I now had formed the habit, and it was no longer difficult. Again, 12 months later, Algamish came to the room of the scribes and addressed me. "What progress have you made since last I saw you?" "I have paid myself faithfully," I replied, "and my savings I have entrusted to Agar, the shield maker, to buy bronze, and each 4th month he does pay me the rental." "That is good. And what do you do with the rental?" "I do have a great feast with honey and fine wine and spiced cake. Also I have bought me a scarlet tunic, and some day I shall buy me a young ass upon which to ride," to which Algamish laughed. "You eat the children of your savings? Then how do you expect them to work for you? And how can they have children that will also work for you? First, get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet may you enjoy without regret." So saying, he again went away. Nor did I again see him for 2 years, when he once more returned, and his face was full of deep lines, and his eyes were drooped. For he was becoming a very old man, and he said to me, "Troll, Hast thou yet achieved the wealth thou dreamt of? And I answered, Not yet all that I desire. But some I have, and it earns more, and its earnings earn more. And do you still take the advice of brickmakers? About brickmaking, they give good advice, I retorted. Troll, you have learned your lessons well. You first learned to live upon less than you could earn. Next, you learned to seek advice from those who are competent through their own experience to give it. And, lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. You have taught yourself how to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it. Therefore, you are competent for a responsible position. I am becoming an old man. My sons think only of spending and giving no thought to earning. My interests are great, and I fear too much for me to look after. If you will go to Ogamar and look after my lands there, I shall make you my partner, and you shall share in my estate. So I went to Ogamar and took charge of his holdings, which were large, and because I was ambitious, and because I had mastered the 3 laws of successfully handling wealth, I was enabled to increase greatly the value of his properties. So I prospered much, and when the spirit of Alchemish departed for the sphere of darkness, I did share in his estate, as he had arranged under the law.
Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.